Hey guys, Casper here. Busy evening, and that is good. Yesterday, or was it 2 days ago, you posted it, the silver and gold stocks that we need to look at, and here they are. If I have forgotten one or two, I'm terribly sorry. But again, I have the list here. We have roughly 15. Let's go through them, and I will give you my honest opinion. And I can say that there are two quite decent buy signals very, very close by. Um, And yes, there's also a few of the charts that I can't, really say much about because they are so, I mean, sometimes they're just better, options. And also the chart sometimes is just very messy and you don't really have any clear view. I will try to take again the long-term picture always. To again, so when the entry is there, it is the long-term entry. And it's not like an entry where you have to, again, only like a month or so because it's an internal. But anyways, enough talking here. GSVR, that's again, a name I will not try to say here. Guana something, I have no idea. Silver company. And this chart is one of them, not really that clean. Again, expanding, you can see here expanding volatility. The only thing I can say here, again, if you don't own it, is and you want to, that blue internal there, if that breaks here, roughly anything above like 25 cents, that is actually a quite decent entry. Because that means that we're going to most likely go to the other here, so roughly 100% move, pulling back whatever, and then potentially breaking out. Um, Again, megaphones can be tricky because you have expanding formation, expanding volatility, and not contraction that we like a lot more. So difficult chart to really say a whole lot about here, but the blue one there should have your focus if you're not in it already. And the bearish view is like anything below like 0.155, then we are most likely going to see again below 10 cents. Messy one here. There are better ones. This is not one of them. That's the APGOF, Apollo Silver. Again, bit of a messy one here. Not my kind of setup, but again, the downtrend there is broken. That's the first step. Major gap, by the way, and a gap fill. And ever since, we're just trending here. So as long as you hold that blue uptrend, you're actually quite good. Um, we do have a little bit of a supply and demand here between 20 cents and 24. And that to me could be double top potential. And that is, again, rounding. Again, I don't love rounding structures in a lock scale. Um, so again, here, one thing you could do, just speaking my mind here, is actually sell here and just wait for a break above that double top. Again, it's not a bad looking chart, but again, that's one way to do it. Or again, just wait until you get a breakdown from that. But again, for now, it's basically ping ponging here between those two. Not ideal chart for me, but yeah. SSVR, Suma Silver. Well, again, we only have like 3 years worth of data here, so we don't have the most. But I will say this though, let's remove that. And this is 2022. We have 2022 again here late, and then 2024. And hey, anything above 40 cents looks incredible for SSVR. So that is actually an entry, a long-term entry where you're breaking a 3-year trend line here. You have the channel here, and then you're squeezing up here to compress, the price. Not the biggest of the biggest, but it is definitely there. Zooming in here on the daily just to see how that is looking. I will say, once we start to trade, yeah, actually about that high. So yeah, 40, 41, 42. At that point, you should have broken that long-term downtrend. And beneath that, you have a cup and handle as well to actually, you know, confirm that breakout there. So again, next target for me would be 60 cents. Looks really good. This is actually a quite nice stock here. It's only 50 million, quite low, not quite small. But again, that is quite a decent, breakout here. And if you buy here, let's say I'm long, once you start to trade back below, like 37 and change, just get out. It doesn't matter. Just be on the sidelines for some time if you want to play with a stop, that is. Looks really promising here. NXG, next gold. You can see here, this is actually one where we had that false breakout. So false breakouts is not a good thing. So very clean break out, testing, nope, and then you came down again. I can see it's actually, is it today or is it tomorrow here? It's tomorrow, okay, so again, here down a lot today here, like 10%. So that is the scary part, and that's why, again, if you want to play with the stop, you have it just below that trend line. Again, let's see here, they have earnings tomorrow, so who knows? Is it after hours? No, it was during the entire day. So again, also we only have like 1 year, not even 1 year of data. So yeah, IMPUY looks pretty darn good. I really like it here. You can buy it here easily. You're getting back above the long-term downtrend. Fantastic. Again, ideally you held there, of course, and then you started to grind higher there. But actually you had a very steep downturn here, back test, high, low, and then again you're breaking out here. If I were to be really, really, really nitpicky, and I am sometimes, that is actually, I want to see that taking out. So anything above 7.3 looks really good for this stock here. And if my memory serves me well, it's gold and platinum. Yeah, platinum, exactly. Platinum, palladium, rhodium. Rhodium looks fantastic, above 500 on the spot price. Gold, silver, it's a good bet, this one here. It's a big company. They don't need financing. From what again, 6 billion, you should be able to support your own, business. Above 7.3, it's, again, very good bet here on a big gold, silver, platinum, whatever stock that we have. Yeah, looks really good. Looks really, really good there. MAU, M-A-U. When I saw this, I'm like, I wish, again, I had seen that, back in the day. I didn't know this stock before, I was shown here. That little flag below the breakout, absolutely fantastic. Just confirming it even more that, hey, we are most likely going higher, and boom, off we went. This to me is difficult to chart, really. That's not, it's just basically one-way street here. And yeah, is this the top? Again, the trend is your friend here, and you're making higher highs and higher lows on the weekly chart. So it looks absolutely incredible. Measured moves is difficult because you only have this to work from. But the initial, I will say, is most likely something like that. So that was the initial measured move, like 1.5. And you hit it, you pulled back a tiny bit, and you just went on. Really, really strong. Should you be a buyer up here? No, absolutely not. You shouldn't be buying that far into the move, really. Again, you would want to be a buyer if we do, again, something like that, right? Then you might want to be a buyer. But if you own it, again, these are very volatile, but sometimes you just gotta say, hey, you nailed the entry. Let's roll with the uptrend, even though we know that 50% downturns is often in the cards as well. So all are here, all are Mining Inc. Lovely, lovely setup there. Deep retest, grinding it higher. Should you be a buyer up here? No. We are very close to the $10 target here for the stock here. And you can see we did hit the triangle high. A little bit of resistance straight through. First target, second target. Longer term, again, it could go on easily. But again, you don't buy this late into a move. You just don't. You wait for an opportunity or a reason to get in. Again, it could be, again, some bullish pullbacks into support. Maybe we even go down to the triangle high there. For a visit at $6, you buy at $6, you have your stop just below. But again, never buy this late into a move. It doesn't matter if it keeps going. You don't buy this late into a move. You want to be at a place where you know exactly where you're wrong, and you don't know if you're wrong here or here or here on the way up. So, but overall, looks really, really good. But I do think that a pullback is due. It's very due, by the way. IGO here, we have been talking about this as well on the channel. Double bottom there, support here, uptrend support there. The double support is still holding. That's good. This whole thing here, extremely messy. Again, this was a very nice breakout, retest, and then just a whole lot of nothing. So I own this one, you know this. But again, maybe we should have been selling it, once we started to just do this stuff here. I don't know. But again, here, as long as we hold here now, I'm not going to do anything, basically. A bit of a messy one here. I'm not going to lie. Fresnillo, big player, big player here, getting close to a breakout. And depending on how you are, again, making the lines here, one could also argue that this is it's actually better in my opinion. That's way better, to be honest, like that. So you can see here the parallel going on, major flag or channel. It's not a flag. Breakout, retest. Now you are here trying to break this 12-year channel. So again, Fresnillo here, if you own it, don't sell it. And we are very close to a breakout here. If I were to be really picky, we have broken out and back tested at this moment here. But yeah, overall looks really good for the Fresnillo. Long term looks fantastic, especially if we can break out here. Looks a little bit steep here though, so short term mixed feelings, but again, we can hope for a pullback, right? And then blast, stop loss, entry. DC, Dakota Gold, small guy, I would assume, because it is not trading. Okay, 300 million. That's quite decent, yeah. Look at that, looks absolutely incredible. You have a 2-year channel here getting broken. Mind the gap, by the way. That has to be some sort of news, otherwise you don't do that. But again, you have broken the downtrend and you have made a higher high. So let's say you are, boom, you buy. Again, any reason to get in. And hopefully, if we zoom in here on the 2-hourly, again, ideally we get something like that. That would be absolutely amazing, right? Where you are getting down to 2.6 and then boom, then you strike with the expectations of it going higher. If you drop below the gap, you're out. So ideally, we stall here for some time so you can nail that entry. But again, if you own it, I wouldn't be selling because it looks really good. I would be selling if we start to close below roughly 2.5 here and that gap. Until then, I have no interventions against the stock here. Looks really good. Gold Mining Inc. Again, large downtrend here. You have the lower side coming in here as well. That's a squeeze not to mess with. I mean, because it looks so darn good, right? Ideally, you had a bit of a better angle on these two because this is very steep. This is almost horizontal, like 10 degrees. But we are breaking the downtrend here, guys, and that's good. Lesson learned here, or talking from experience, I want to see those highs get taken out before I do anything. So anything above 1.45, so $1.45 is extremely bullish. Downtrend broken. The recent highs for the past 2 years has been taking out. I would wait for those. I wouldn't be buying here again. This is just me getting burned quite a few times on those setups. I want to wait here. Again, you don't miss much really. You only miss like 10%, so it doesn't really matter. And you could be spending a lot of time doing a whole lot of nothing for like a month or 2, 3, 4. So 1.44 looks incredibly good on gold. Snowline Gold here, also a stock that we have been looking at. This was just death because I thought we were going to break there, but we didn't. But we have tagged it 4 times. We broke on the 5th. We initiated a trade there as well. Target to me here roughly $10, a bit higher. But also look at that uptrend there. So very healthy stock. Could we be pulling back, testing all that? Yeah, sure. But long term looks really good since you're breaking out from a 2-year ceiling with higher highs, higher lows, my bad. Uptrend intact. moving averages are trending up heavily here, especially the 30 weekly. Looks good. Any dip on the shorter time frames, let's go down to the 2 hourly. So if you get like a dip here, that's when you start to buy in. You don't buy this late, by the way. You don't buy this late. Looks really, really healthy, and I wouldn't change the thing here. Scott is one of those stocks that you can see here is a 50 million. Bit of a weird guy, to be honest. But even though if you really want to own it, look at this. Again, you are starting to break some pretty, again, this is a very low cap stock here, and the movements are erratic. But again, once we start to trade north of $1.2, really, I think it's not the worst kind of entry that you have. Even though this whole thing here, we might have to go to the log scale, excuse me, the Heikin-Ashi. Even though this, again, I don't really know exactly how to and what to make of this. If this, however, were down here, then it's a different story. And even then, it's just a weird looking one here. But I will say north of $1.2, it's not the worst. But again, a bit messy, a bit messy. VGZ or whatever, Z, like zebra? Yeah, I guess so. Downtrend from below here, like an internal structure here, because we have a lot of things going on at that trend line. And anything above, roughly again, 1.2, 1.3 here looks really, really strong. Can this be used? Nah, I don't really. Just checking here. Again, you could also argue that that is broken there. Touches there, one there, you're breaking out. So it looks really good. And again, 1.2, 1.3 and above looks amazing for this stock here. Long-term breakout. This is, 20 years in the making. So yeah, but I wouldn't be touching it until then. I'm just going to check here if we have, yeah, we do have that little bad boy there, right, don't we? I'm just going to check here, guys, just 1 second. Yeah, there it is. Good. So if we are to remove that, you can see it's not picture perfect, but again here, 1.3 and that flag alone, right? The 2016 highs, right around 1.3 there, a bit higher maybe, and this one looks really good. And if you add in the other breaks, the other breakouts, that is not too shabby. Overall, still a bit messy chart, really. But yeah, there are, I think, better plays. But if you really want to get in, 1.3, 1.4, that's probably your entry. And even here now, if you're really aggressive at 1.10, you can probably do that. So 1.15, excuse me, you can do that as well. That is all. I hope you gained some of this, even though we're recording this on a down day overall for the silver miners, a down day. But yeah, overall, I think the silver miners looks fantastic. Let's look at the SIL just before we go. This is all I need. And again, here, I fully expect this to break out. Could I be wrong? Of course. But this setup here is so darn bullish that anything above like 43 and silver miners in general, also gold miners, of course, will just start to put on the gains. Boom, boom, boom. It's no more chop, chop. It's confirmed long-term breakout. This is a 15-year breakout, meaning we could be rallying for 3-5 years easily. Have a great day, guys. Cheers.